Hey everybody, welcome back to DeHaven Family Farm. As you can see, we're sitting in the garage today. We got the Kubota SSV65 behind us as a nice backdrop. And today we're going to start with part one of small farm finances. Part one is about my story. So before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys there's going to be a part two, which is about how to generate some extra money for your small farm or homestead. And then there'll be part three, ways to save money on your small farm or homestead. Also, there will be a video coming up, I hope, fingers crossed, very soon, hopefully after you see this one, about the Tractor Saga situation. I think things are finally kind of resolved, not 100% as of this video, but I'd say 99% at this point. So I'm hoping to do a short video on that after this one. So stay tuned for that. So if you want to stay tuned for those things, let's real quick hit the subscribe button down there, the bell icon, so you get notified when all these fun videos post. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's get started with part one. So here in part one, we're going to discuss about my finances, my small farm finances. So the first part of the video, I want to discuss a little bit about ways that we generate money here, how I afford the things that I have, and the second part of the video here, we're going to discuss things that I would do different and my advice to you guys as beginning farmers or small farmers or homesteaders. So the reason I wanted to make this video, obviously the three-part series, I want it to be helpful and educational to you guys, especially you guys looking to get started in farming, starting small. But the main reason I wanted to make this particular video in the series was because I don't want beginning farmers, small farmers, again, people maybe starting a homestead, excuse me, I don't want you guys to watch my channel and look around and see the equipment that I have and the things that I do. And I don't want you to be like, oh, well, if he's doing it, then I can do it, and go out and buy a bunch of stuff. I want to avoid that, and I want you to do things the right way, which is why I'm making part one of this video. So in talking a little bit about the things that I do, as you can see, I have my landscaping shirt on. You see these shirts a lot in the videos. I also have farm shirts that I wear. But a big part of what I do is landscaping, a landscaping and excavating business. I've had the business longer than I've had the farm. I started the business a long time ago, and we're getting close to 20 years now, I think. But I started the business because I like working with equipment and I like being outside. I grew up working on my neighbor's dairy farm when I was a kid, from as little as I can remember. And if I remember, I'll insert a picture that I have of me sitting with them. I think we were raking hay. So farming has always been sort of in my blood, and over all these years, I just couldn't get it out. That little nag was always there, and I couldn't get it to go away. So having the landscaping business was nice. It allowed me to work with some equipment and be outside, but it wasn't quite the same and quite as fulfilling as, doing the farm stuff, whether it be animals or running tractors or growing stuff, whatever your passion is. It didn't fulfill mine. So in 2013, I think, I was able to talk my wife into getting some goats. That was kind of the beginning of me getting back into farming with the goats. And then, now we have a hay operation and stuff. So, but the main way that I was able to start that was the income from the landscaping business. So the farm is not really generating much profit at this point. And some of that is due to the way that I've managed it and the things that I've done. And in the second part of this video, stay tuned for that. We're going to discuss some of those things. But So we have a landscaping and excavating business. That's one of the ways that we bring in money. We have a seasonal retail store that we sell products. Some of you may have just seen, we did Christmas trees again this year. We had taken a short break from that a couple years, and we decided to do them again this year. So we did Christmas trees. We have a small gift shop in there. We do sell some mulch and stone and topsoil here, and our pumpkins and things. So we do have a small retail store here. So that's kind of the second thing we do. The third thing, of course, is the farm itself. So we do breed and sell goats. Our hay operation has grown. That's probably our biggest income maker at this point, is the hay operation. We've grown pumpkins and things in the past. Of course, the corn maze we've done. Excuse me. We tried a strawberry patch, and it was fairly successful. It was a lot of work, but some of our complications here on this property and why we didn't continue some of these things, we have a creek that runs through our property, and it makes it difficult. Most of our property is located on the other side of that creek. So what that means is that people that come to do these activities like picking strawberries and whatnot, we actually physically have to shuttle them down there and bring them back. You can't just show up here and go walk and, go to the strawberry patch, a 2-minute walk or whatever, and come back. It makes it a big challenge. So we didn't continue the strawberries. We do have an apple orchard that's fairly young yet. Started producing a few apples, so we'll have that coming up that we'll have those apple sales for. So all the things I mentioned are still things that we do today. I think in farming today, you can't just necessarily count on one specific thing. At least in our area, you can't. We have to do multiple different things to be able to survive. So those are some of the things that I do. So I don't want you guys watching this, the young guys getting started, thinking, oh, well, I'm going to jump in and buy all this stuff because I see he has it. He must be making all the money off the farm. So again, that's not correct. We do all these other things to generate money here. Again, just wanted to portray that so there was no confusion about that. So on to the second part of this video. So here in the second part of the video, I want to discuss things that I would do differently and my advice to you guys getting started. So, my situation being a little bit different of, when I started the landscaping business, I never thought that I would have the opportunity to farm again. So that's why I'm telling you guys that, if you have that inkling, that just constant nag that you guys, you think you want to start farming one day, you're not sure how you're going to get into it, but you want it to be a part of your life at some point. This is what I'm going to tell you. Number one, keep a full-time job. And this is what you're going to do. You're not going to go out and buy a bunch of financed equipment to get started. You're going to save money. It may take you 5 years to get into farming, okay? But I'm telling you, do it this way. Now, this doesn't apply to people who are taking over a second-generation farm. I'm first generation here, and I'm kind of talking to you guys that'd be first generation. So I want you to pay cash for stuff. I want you to save up money, look for deals, and decide what kind of farm is going to be best for you. Maybe it's corn and soybeans, maybe it's hay, maybe it's fruit, maybe it's vegetables. You have to decide what you have a passion for, what is going to work with your climate, what's going to work with your location. You have to decide all those things, and you may change along the way, and that's fine. But kind of look at what you want to do and start with that. And I want you to start buying equipment for it, sort of setting that stuff aside. All the equipment. I'm not telling you to buy junk, but if it needs a little bit of work, even if you don't know how to do that work, buy the stuff anyway and slowly work on it, because at some point you're going to need to work on that equipment. And if you learn the ins and outs of that equipment before you absolutely depend on it every day, it's much easier to go on YouTube, talk to dealers, talk to people, figure out how to repair that stuff right from the beginning. That's going to help you a lot down the road. So slowly build up your inventory of equipment by paying cash. Then set aside a good amount of money to to have as a rainy day fund. Basically, what, again, keep your full-time job as long as you can. But when you are ready, you think you're ready to move into the full-time farming, where you don't have any other job off the farm, that you're a full-time farmer. I want you to look at what your expenses are and add them up for the year. I want you to look at what your potential income is for the year. I want you to take that potential income and I want you to take 40% off of it. Now, you guys that have been doing this a long time, you know that you've already set aside some money for those bad years moving forward. You've had some good ones and maybe you had some bad ones, but the guys that are getting started, that are depending on every dollar that comes in, you cannot depend on 100% of that projected income. So take 40 or 50% of that away and you're going to work with that budget. So maybe you think you're going to make $100,000, work with a $50,000 a year budget, for example. So, don't overextend yourself. And, to be honest, that's something that I would do differently now. If I thought that someday I was going to have the opportunity to get back into farming, that's what I would have done. I would have slowly over the years, maybe it would have been 2 years, maybe it would have been 5 years, whatever. But I would have built up my equipment. It would have been paid for, and that would make it a lot easier. The farm would be profitable right now instead of sort of breaking even. Now, some of the reasons that we're at sort of a break-even point is because of the equipment that I bought for the farm. Last year I bought the new round baler. A few years ago I bought a new mower. So there's various new pieces of equipment that are kind of eating into all my profit. And I decided to go ahead and make those purchases now while the landscaping and things are still going. So that way those items will be paid for. For me, the window to farm is tight. So I may have landscape projects going and I can squeeze out a 3-day window to do some hay. But if something breaks during that 3-day window and I'm unable to do the hay, that doesn't mean I can immediately the next time there's a 3-day window in the weather, you have nice weather, that doesn't mean that I can immediately jump back in and do that. I may have a landscape project that is an obligation to me. Somebody's waiting for their project to be completed. So that may mean it would be another 2 or 3 weeks before I'd be able to do hay, which, anybody who does hay or any crops really, at a certain point, they start to get, I guess you could call it, overripe. And the hay gets old, it's not worth as much. So for me, I wanted to be able to make sure that I had some newer equipment that I could rely on, that during that window, that tight window that I had to do things, it would lessen the chance of things breaking down on me and I'd be able to get in and out and get back to my landscape project. So that's the reason that I chose to go ahead and buy some new equipment. I've slowly kind of been updating things as I've gone. I started with old New Holland, I think it was a 56 model rake. I started with a John Deere Haybine, which I still have. So I did start with small equipment, and then as we've grown and my acreage has grown, I bought the new mower. I did buy, the second tedder I bought was used, but I did buy a 4-basket. I did buy a new hay rake and stuff. So I didn't start with brand new equipment. I did work my way up some. But anyway, so that's kind of my story. My advice to you guys, I hope this video made sense to you. I hope you got something out of it. Questions, comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next parts in the series and my Tractor Saga video. So hope everybody has a great day. I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.